Kelvin Benjamin criticized Cam Newton. Kelvin Benjamin came out and said his former quarterback was inaccurate and that Kelvin Benjamin said he would have been better off if he didn't ever go to the Carolina Panthers. And let me explain the history of this. Kelvin Benjamin is formerly Cam Newton's wide receiver. Kelvin Benjamin came into the league with the Panthers. He played with Cam Newton for a couple years, and he's now on the Buffalo Bills. Remember, this is a former wide receiver of Cam Newton. And Kelvin Benjamin came out and said Cam Newton is not accurate. And he said, Cam Newton, I would have been better off if I never played with Cam Newton. My career suffered because I played with Cam Newton, who doesn't know how to read defenses very well and really struggles with accuracy. And what's interesting is I think that Kelvin Benjamin said the truth. Kelvin Benjamin said exactly what he believes, and I think he was honest. I think he was right. I don't think he should have said what he said. Even though Kelvin Benjamin said exactly what he believed, he said the truth, he was honest, he was authentic, I think he should have held his tongue. Here's why. Let me tell you this. I made a video earlier this summer talking about my frustrations with college. I made a video saying, here's what I hate, here's what I don't like, and I use the word hate. You can't really use the word hate. I don't think it's helpful because it ends conversations. It doesn't allow for a conversation about things. But the problem with this is that, you know why it was a mistake to make a video talking about my frustrations with college? The reason why that video was a mistake is because I have 2 years left of college. I still have to work within the system. And the reason why Kelvin Benjamin made a mistake, even though he left the Carolina Panthers, even though Kelvin Benjamin doesn't have to play with Cam Newton ever again, the reason why Kelvin Benjamin should not have said what he said until he retired was he still has to play football. He still has to work within the system. And here's, you may be saying, well, again, Cam Newton was, he doesn't play with Cam Newton anymore. He left. I'll say this. Every time one of his Bills quarterbacks, every time one of Kelvin Benjamin's quarterbacks misses a pass or overthrows him or underthrows him or misses whatever, it's very possible that could creep into their head. Does Kelvin Benjamin not like me either? Am I reminding him of Cam Newton? And that's a confidence issue, right? That's not really necessarily Kelvin Benjamin's job to track it, but it doesn't help. You have a rookie quarterback, Josh Allen. You have A.J. McCarron, Nathan Peterman. These are not guys that have been incredibly successful yet in the NFL. And so you got to give them every benefit you can. That is why Kelvin Benjamin made a mistake. The other mistake is this, is that, the story continues. The story got even worse for Kelvin Benjamin. Kelvin Benjamin and the Buffalo Bills played Cam Newton and the Carolina Panthers in the preseason. And pregame warm-ups happen, and Cam Newton walks up to Kelvin Benjamin. He tries to shake his hand, tries to kind of clear the air. And Kelvin Benjamin says, I'm not shaking your hand. He doesn't shake his hand. There's kind of some awkward confrontation. Cam Newton goes, what's up, man? Like, why can't we talk? And Kelvin Benjamin doesn't have any of it. He walks away. And I initially saw this, and I went, ooh, I don't like that. I thought that was a bad look for Cam Newton. But the more I thought about what happened, that confrontation, the more I realized that's not Cam Newton's fault. In fact, I would credit Cam Newton for trying to end things. That is Kelvin Benjamin making an even worse mistake. So Kelvin Benjamin screwed up, right? He shouldn't have came out and said Cam Newton's inaccurate. He shouldn't have trashed Cam Newton, his former quarterback. But Kelvin Benjamin compounded a mistake by making an even worse mistake and making the situation worse by refusing to squash the bug with Cam Newton. So I made a video this summer. I already talked about it. I talked about my frustration with college. And I indirectly talked about a professor. I didn't say his name. I just talked about an experience I had. And this professor did not like that at all. He really, understandably, I criticized him. And people don't like being criticized. And that professor wants to meet with me. Probably he wants to scold me, let's be honest. And I don't know that I should be talking about this, but, it's my show. I do whatever I want. Frankly, I don't really care. But I'm going to go to that meeting with that professor, and I'm going to bury the hatchet. I'm going to make friends. I'm going to shake his hand. I'm going to be nice. I'm going to end the feud. I don't want to have a feud with anybody. And that is what Kelvin Benjamin could have done. He could have shaken Cam Newton's hand and ended things, and instead he escalated the situation. We could have seen on SportsCenter a little moment, Kelvin Benjamin, Cam Newton, they shake hands, make up, it's great. We didn't see that. Cam Newton tried. To Cam Newton's credit, I thought it made Cam Newton look petty and small. I think that was a wrong initial reaction. Cam Newton tried to end things. Cam Newton tried to solve the issue and be the bigger person, really, and it's actually a great example. If someone criticizes you, why not go try to make friends? I actually think if a 9-year-old's watching that, that's awesome. I like that. I want my quarterback to set an example for, hey, if someone's criticizing you, go make friends with them. Because I believe there's a lesson I learned this summer. It's better to make friends, not enemies. Make friends, not enemies. That's the way to live your life. And you can't always do that, right? If someone's running into your car repeatedly or doing awful things to you, don't make friends with them. but don't make feuds with people you don't have to have feuds with. And Kelvin Benjamin just escalated the situation. He made it worse. And Kelvin Benjamin had an opportunity to end the feud, to be the bigger person, and he showed his immaturity. So I just don't know that Kelvin Benjamin did anything right here. He shouldn't have criticized Cam Newton. He should have ended things when he had a chance, and he just made himself look even worse. You know, the Buffalo Bills coach Sean McDermott came out and said he shouldn't have made those comments. He came out and said Kelvin Benjamin should not have talked bad about Cam Newton. I completely agree for a couple reasons. Remember, Kelvin Benjamin created a distraction for the Buffalo Bills. And this is not an example of good people skills at all. It's just not good. It's not a good example for your kids. And the other thing is this potentially hurts the Buffalo Bills' current quarterbacks, right? You have a rookie quarterback, Josh Allen, developing. You don't want to hurt his confidence at all. I'm not saying his confidence should be hurt, but it still could be. And that's not a risk I want to take. So I think Kelvin Benjamin completely screwed up in this situation. He handled it really poorly, and he showed an extreme lack of maturity. So Kelvin Benjamin made a big mistake. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Remember, if you want to help Strong Opinion Sports grow, you can share this with your friends on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, whatever it is. Help me grow Strong Opinion Sports by telling your friends about this show. And always remember, you can subscribe to Strong Opinion Sports on iTunes, on SoundCloud, everywhere you can find a podcast, as well as YouTube. My full entire podcast is on YouTube, as well as shorter, more interesting clips like this. So thank you so much. Have a great day, and take care.